Hello, my name is Sarah Payton, and I'm here from my cello room to say a few words about the importance of naming what's happening and naming trauma for our bodies in the world that we know about. Single people we know from the work of Matthew Lieberman, that when we name what's really happening, what we see, what we experience, the amygdala calms. The center, the emotional center of the brain calms. It's like it gets to exhale. And the same thing is true for us as a nation, or for us as a globe too, as a planet. We need our leaders and the people who are speaking for us to name the truth of what's going on. So I'm speaking tonight in honor of the vigil that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris created in honor of the folks who have died from COVID-19. And the speech that Biden made was so simple and yet so much to the point. He said, "To heal, we must remember, and it's hard to remember." As I say that, I have the prickling of tears in my eyes, and my heart is beating quite hard. I want to stay calm and collected and focused so that I can say a little bit about the importance of naming. And at the same time, I'm so moved by what Biden and Harris did, and also just with the relief, of course, of a little bit of a feeling of a return to something that feels a bit more measured, and where we can lean into and count on our leaders to name the things that help with trauma. I want to sort of radically also acknowledge that Trump's way of naming did touch chords for people, that people were moved, not in ways that I want people to be moved necessarily, but people were moved by the way he used language. But the greatest speeches and the greatest ways that we've been touched by language in ways that have just melted into our bodies are the namings of great truths. So we can think of the iconic speeches of our rememberable history. We can think of Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream." We can think of Franklin Roosevelt's "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." We can think of Kennedy saying "Ich bin ein Berliner." And of course, Abraham Lincoln speaking after Gettysburg. All of us touching, all of these human speakers touching on huge kind of waves of human trauma, and ways to begin to name what's happening and to allow the collective exhale that then lets us move into the idea of something better. So I'm deeply grateful to Joe Biden and to Kamala Harris for creating the opportunity for everyone who has lost people to COVID to be acknowledged. And for all of us, for all of these losses, and acknowledging the completely disturbing greater percentages of losses of folks who have lived through more trauma, more social trauma, more racialized trauma, more structural racism, just like acknowledging the way in which this pandemic has impacted and amplified and augmented the trauma that people have already lived through. And there's so much grief there, but we did get to touch it. And we did get to be with Joe Biden when he said, "To heal, we must remember, and it's hard to remember." and then to make the time to do that. So, in gratitude to everyone in the ACEs community who is doing this work of naming trauma, both on the individual level and for small classrooms of kids and for prison populations and for medical support personnel and for everyone that we see touched in the ACEs Connection newsletter week after week, day after day, with so much gratitude for the work of naming so that something different can come. Thank you.